very honored to receive that award together with great leaders, remarkable.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Latinidad in the Lou. I'm your host Miguel Rincán, and with me today I have Susan Gobbo. She's the co-founder of the International Spouses Group and the International Mentoring Program here in St. Louis. Before we start talking with her, I just want to remind you guys to follow us on all of our social media accounts: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. We are everywhere and anywhere, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Metropolitan St. Louis. Please subscribe and like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But now going into the episode, hi Susan, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me here today.
No, thank you for agreeing to be with us. I know you said that being in front of the camera sometimes you can get a little nervous, but we really appreciate the fact that you're doing this for us.
Yeah, I think it's important to pass the message about the group so we can help more people.
Yeah, absolutely. So just tell us a little bit about who Susan is, for those who don't know.
Okay, so I'm Susan Gobbo. I'm from Brazil, and my family also is from Brazil. I have a beautiful daughter. Her name is Laura, and my husband, Mauricio. Everybody's from Brazil, and I came from a little town in Brazil, a very special town. And I just realized after moving that it was a very diverse city, even though it was a small town. We had a lot of immigrants from Syria, from Lebanon, from Italy. Actually, my grandparents, they were Italian.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I grew up eating this food, this diverse food, and think, oh, this is Brazilian food. But actually, I grew up with this, my godmother, her mom, she was from Portugal, and her father was from India. So I was at her house eating Indian food, thinking that was Brazilian food.
That's great because you know you have a lot of diversity, which is pretty great. So you said you lived in Brazil. You were telling me you moved to the U.S. in 2008, right?
Yes.
And you were a physical therapist at the ICU back in Brazil. How was that change from doing that in Brazil, like your country, your home language? Like how was that coming into St. Louis or the United States?
Yeah, great question. Well, as I said, I moved to another city in Brazil to have my college. And that city also had a lot of Japanese immigrants.
Oh, really?
So I was surrounded by people, immigrants. And then I moved to São Paulo. That's a very big, busy city, diverse as well, where I met my husband.
Okay.
But there I got my job, and I started working in ICU in a very cutting-edge hospital in Latin America. And it was my dream to work in that hospital, and I got it. So I was part of different committees in the hospital, and I was a coordinator of a training program for a physical therapist. I wrote a book, and it was a reference book for physical therapists in universities. And so I was on the top of my career. But for my husband career, he need to have an opportunity to work abroad.
Okay.
And we discussed, we have like this willingness to move to another country, to have this experience, like learning about a new language, a new culture. And he was traveling a lot because of his job. And then the company asked him this opportunity to move to the United States. So he said, well, let's go. But it was supposed to be like an international mission assignment for 2 years, 3 years. And then we would move on to another place or come back to Brazil. So we didn't come with the mindset to stay. I didn't come with the mindset to work over here. Actually, I could not speak a word in English. So I was like, okay, I was dropping my daughter off at school, and I was going to school as well to learn. But she learned faster than me. These kids are amazing. But at the beginning, you are you are all excited about a new place. So you start meeting and visiting new places. Everything looks great, and you are learning. It's like when you are in a honeymoon, you know. You are,
honeymoon stage.
Yeah, it's a honeymoon stage. And when we travel, we stay 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. It's wonderful because we are not living there. We are not changing our routine.
Yeah. It's kind of like a vacation in a sense, yeah.
Yes, but so I was trying to learn the language, and I had a visa that did not allow me to work as well. I was tied with my husband's visa. But I said, okay, I'm going to learn English. So I took some classes, and I started learning Spanish as well. So hablo un poquito de español también.
Oh, nice.
And also French. And I love culture. I love languages. And so I was trying to fill the void, you know, like doing something.
Like keep your mind like occupied.
Yes. Yeah. And also I started volunteering because I said, you know, I need to do something. And that is so important because when you miss our profession, our job, we feel like we are not giving anything back to the community. You feel like useless. So it's so important to have this mindset. I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to do this. I have a routine.
So when you got here, you like to St. Louis to finally just, like you said, like finally moved in and settled in and like you live here. You started working with a lot of like immigrants that also come to St. Louis. But why did you take such an interest in those kind of people? Because
I'm immigrant.
Yes, you were one of them.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I came as an expat spouse, and then I went through this experience. It was not easy. When I realized, we decided to stay, but I realized in order for me to work as a physical therapist, I would have to have credential.
So like pretty much go to school all over again?
All over again, start from the scratch. And then I said, I'm not that young anymore, and I have a daughter. I have to think about her future, save money for her college.
Yeah.
So I was kind of lost in the system. I don't know what I'm going to do, what I can do here. And then comes this desire to work, but we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
So I was like, and then I started talking to other expat women, and this was not clear. It's when we talk, it's like easy, but it was like a gray area. And I started talking to other expat women, and I saw they had the same process, but nobody knows. At the beginning, I thought, I have a problem. I'm feeling lonely. I'm isolated. I start being at home more. So, by talking to the others, like, they go to the same process. So I said, wait a minute, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
So I start going to Google and doing some research, and I found a word that nobody was talking about. Okay, these companies, they bring the families over here, the employees, they go to work, kids go to school, but how about us?
Yeah.
What we are going to do? So we need some support. And I could not find any support. So I said, okay, so I'm going to be the support.
Yeah, you're going to make yourself the support.
Yeah, start doing something. And so I started talking about this topic, bringing this topic, and discussing. And many women, they're like, wow, I didn't know about that. So we are part of the process, but we have no idea.
Yeah. So is that kind of how the International Spouses Group was created?
Yes. So I start talking to one here and one there, and I got the opportunity to go to the St. Louis Mosaic Project, one of the first events in 2014. And when I got there and I learned about their mission to welcome immigrants, to support immigrants, I was like, I'm in the right place. So I started getting more and more involved with St. Louis Mosaic Project. I met Betsy Cohen, and she's a wonderful person, a wonderful leader. So I talked about my plan to have a group, and she's like, go for it. What do you need? So, and they start sponsoring the group.
That's awesome.
And, you know, promoting the group, and the group start growing. And so it's a mixture of my experience and my learning and the support with others.
From other people. Yeah, we actually had Susan Sierra not too long ago from the St. Louis Mosaic Project. We had her on our podcast too, and they do great work for like the entire like St. Louis community. And like talking about the Mosaic Project, one of my questions is, I saw that you won an ambassador award a couple years ago. How? Yeah. What is an ambassador award, and how did that happen?
Well, that was a I was very honored to receive that award together with great leaders, remarkable people in St. Louis. But most importantly, I think is like showing me you are doing a good job.
You know, reassuring you.
Yeah, keep doing, because sometimes we do things, but we don't know if it's affecting. But so it's like, wow, you know, they recognize the work I'm doing, and by showing them and showing other people what I was doing, more people could be aware. Companies and other international women could be aware about the group. And so I think because all my volunteer work with Mosaic, I was volunteering their events, helping to promote the program, because I think it's wonderful. In Ambassador program, it was the first program they had, like to be a megaphone, to spread what we have here, what we want to do with the city to become more diverse, more welcoming city. So it was very special, very special.
I'm glad. Congratulations. And after you not only, like I said at the beginning, you not only co-founded the International Spouses Group, but you also co-founded the International Mentoring Program. What is that program? I know you said you wanted to talk about that. What is the mentoring program?
That's correct. So through Betsy Cohen, I met Annie Schleffly, and she's from St. Louis, and she came to me and she said, Susan, I'm used to welcome people here in St. Louis. I love the city. I'm from here, and I want to help. And I was like, I know, but our group is just for international women, and I want to have this safe place for them to feel comfortable to come with their accent. You know, and I said, maybe if I have an American here, they will be like shy or
self-conscious and might want to speak.
They won't be natural. But she's like, no, but I want to help. It's not fair. I was like, okay. So after many conversations, we came with this idea, why we don't have another step. So we have the mentoring program. Every international woman has a mentor who is a local American.
That's great.
And to her point, and I agree with that, she's like, I love that you have your group. It's a comfort zone, but at certain point, they need to get to know people from St. Louis. To get used to, American culture, and
to get exposed to things.
And to feel that you belong to this place. So these two programs, they are like sisters. We are hand to hand. So they come to my group, and I say, and sometimes the women say, I'm not prepared. I have to master a little bit more in my language, feel more comfortable to have a mentor. And after sometimes I'm ready to have a mentor. So they come to the mentoring program.
That's great, and both programs, right, are free to join. Like there's no cost to it.
That's correct. There's no membership, so we have very good help, support from St. Louis Mosaic.
Okay.
So many of our meetings, especially for the mentoring program, we go to Mosaic office.
Okay.
And actually, if you go to their website, you are going to see Women Connector program, and they talk about these two programs.
Okay.
So they are our sponsors and big supporters and promoters. But there's no membership. So in my group, the meetup group, they just sign up, and it's ongoing activities and events. So I take them tours and museums, libraries, theaters. We have yoga classes, cooking classes, a lot of activities. And the idea is get out of your house and don't be alone.
Yeah.
So come over here. You are going to meet someone from your country, from the other countries. Everybody has the same experience. So come here. We help each other. We give each other information, guidance.
Yeah.
When they come, I talk to them. I was like, where are you in this process? Do you want to work? Do you want to study? Do you want to volunteer? So I always advise them to volunteer. It's a great way to improve your language skills, or to improve other skills, to network, to meet with people. So this is the meetup group. And the mentoring program, there's no fee as well. Mentors are volunteers. So we do a lot of events as a group. So we create like small group of 10. And then we make like different cohorts. And so it's a group of 10, 5 internationals and 5 locals.
Okay.
And we think that's a great way to create relationships. So we have group meetings, and we ask mentor and mentees to meet by themselves as well.
Okay. And for the people that are listening or and watching us, how can someone join? Where do they need to? I know you said sign up. Where do people sign up?
Well, we have 2 different websites. We have the International Spouse Meetup Group website. If you go there and you click join the group, and they are going to be directed to the meetup and join. And actually, we are now more than 700 women in the group from 85 different countries.
That's great.
And also the International Mentoring Program, we have a website, and you go there and sign up, and you ask to join as a mentee or as a mentor.
Okay, and we'll put it at the bottom of the screen for people to check out your website, and if they are expats, they can join. I was talking with Susan Sierra a couple of podcasts ago, and she was mentioning that after 2020, with like the pandemic and like with the like different change of government and stuff, she said that like immigrants have like been decreasing a little bit in St. Louis. How do you think more immigrants can be like attracted to the city?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, even though with the pandemic, like the mentoring program, we opened 10 more groups. During the pandemic.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
And if my group, the meetup, I had to switch to virtual because many people were coming still during the pandemic.
Okay.
And I have to be creative to like do like different activities virtually.
Yeah.
Yoga virtual, cooking classes virtually. Just to make people, it's hard to come in normal conditions, but if you come during the pandemic, how do you meet people, right?
Yeah.
So, and also, I took the advantage of this, tool, the platform, the Zoom, and I start inviting professionals to come and talk about LinkedIn, cover letter, about how to go for an interview, things that we internationals, we don't know.
Yeah.
So nowadays we have both. We have virtual and in-person meetings. But to your question, how to make more attractive, I think St. Louis, it's a wonderful city, and sometimes people from here, they don't realize that. I love the city. We have wonderful cultural events here, cultural life, arts, music, museums, zoo, botanical garden, Sometimes people say, I don't know what to do. It's like, I wish I could do more because my calendar is full.
Yeah.
And so I think we have to change this narrative and, say, well, we have great things here and we have to spread the word. And what we are seeing with our 2 programs is like we interview everyone. Annie and I, for the mentoring, we interview everyone. And, the mentors are wonderful. They come, they volunteer. They want this diversity here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
They are like, I want to, I have visited different countries, and I want to be in touch with different people from different countries. So they come to the mentoring. And the mentees, who are the internationals, sometimes they cry and they say, wow, I didn't know Americans would meet with me, would like to meet with me.
Yeah.
So St. Louis is a very welcoming place, but we have to spread that.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes people think that that St. Louis is it's like a small town, or there aren't a lot of immigrants here, because that was my perception, and I've talked to many people, and that's their perception as well. Like, you come to St. Louis, to Missouri, in the middle of America, there's not going to be many immigrants, but that's like far from the truth. We are a lot of people, we're a lot of immigrants here in St. Louis.
Well, my husband, he has a expression, he calls St. Louis a curtain city. So everybody needs to open the curtain. Yeah. And then you see it's different from New York or Chicago, that things are, bright and colorful. But to your point, just in my group, I have people from 85 different countries.
Yeah, 85 is a lot of countries.
So, we do have diversity here, but you have to network, you have to know people from here. And what I love about St. Louis, it's not so big, and once you start meeting people and you start meeting someone else, and you start growing your network like naturally.
Yeah, naturally.
And I'm from a small town, and I love this feeling to go to the theater and somebody's waving for me. Hi, Susan. So, and I think those things make us feel at home.
Yeah, definitely.
And so when I see the members of our programs, they say, I have lived in other countries, in other cities, and I have never seen programs like that.
Yeah, so it's I didn't know either, and when I first got here, it would have been awesome to have a program like that, because I didn't know a lot about the culture. I didn't know about a lot what St. Louis is about. So those kind of groups are important, and I feel like people sometimes don't pay much attention to them, because they think, that's not gonna help me, that's not for me. But in reality, like you say, you have over 700 women, you have over 85 countries. So it does help. Believe me, I wish I would have had a group like that to help me.
We come over here, we don't know anything, you don't know how to start. Simple things, where to find food, or to find things from your country, where to go for a hairdresser, or how I navigate in the education system. I have kids, I don't understand the letters that come from school. doctors, how to find doctors.
That's always very hard.
Yes,
Health insurance is very complicated here.
And you know, at the end of the day, we want to raise our family and be happy and to feel at home. So relationships are very important. It doesn't matter if you have a beautiful house, a beautiful car, if you don't have friends. And we you know, left our family, our friends back in our countries. So you have to rebuild everything again.
Pretty much, yeah.
So whenever they come, and then I laughed so hard because I started doing events just for the women, but then the husbands, the men, they start complaining, oh, you have more friends than I do. So I start doing like dinners, and the husbands are also invited to come. And also I start receiving some women who came with the job to be part of the program. So we have like professional women in the program. And they were like, I don't have connections. I go to work and I come back home, I don't have social. So I started including these women as well. And then they say, oh, can you help my husband because he doesn't have connection? So we help them also to connect with other husbands. And it's being like a big family.
That's great. No, like what you do for the St. Louis community, for the immigrants, it's really great work. I just want to thank you for being with us here in the Latinidad in the Lou. We have reached the end, but thank you so much for coming, Susan.
Thank you. I just want to say that if you know international families here, companies who bring families here, please reach out to us. And we can, you know, embrace these families. We can make them feel more at home here. And that's it. Yeah.
And like I said, we'll put all your information at the bottom for people to be able to contact you. But we've reached the end of Latinidad in the Lou. I am Miguel Rincan, Susan Gobbo, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And we're done.